Prepare the hype train, guys, because the absolute universe just officially leveled up. And honestly, as someone who's been breathing comic book ink since I was a kid, I can tell you right now, this is the crossover we've been waiting for. If you thought the 300-pound Batman with a battle axe was already peak insanity, just wait until you see how he vibes with a Wonder Woman who was literally forged in the depths of hell. The story kicks off far away from the grime of Gotham, over in Gateway City, where we see the powerhouse Veronica Cale in a super hush-hush phone call with a guy named Jack Grimm. Now, if you're a real one and you've been keeping up with Absolute Batman, that name should have made your nerd radar go absolutely haywire. Jack Grimm is the supposed name of the absolute Joker, or at least the name Alfred Pennyworth thinks belongs to the clown prince of crime in this reality. And this is where the whole spy game layers start peeling back, because Cale is basically playing 4D dimensional chess. She's using Wonder Woman like a pawn, dropping bait right in Batman's backyard, a mystical sigil called the Mark of Hecate, to lure Diana to Gotham. The plan is as simple as it is diabolical. Drop the unstoppable force of the Amazon right into the territory of the ultimate Gotham vigilante and watch the sparks fly when high-level mysticism crashes into concrete and rebar. Man, I love it when DC uses corporate sharks like Cale to pull the strings on these heroes who are basically walking natural disasters. When Diana finally touches down in Gotham, she doesn't bother knocking or checking in with the GCPD. She literally conjures a massive, glowing bat signal made of pure green hellfire and magic right into the night sky. Visually, this is a total feast for the eyes. Batman, who in this universe is a master of civil engineering and high-stakes improvisation, shows up on the scene hanging from construction cables like some kind of urban gargoyle. Diana drops a line that perfectly sums up this version of Bruce. "I'd heard you were quiet, but they may need to invent a new word for what you are. It's especially impressive considering your size." See, Absolute Batman is a tank, a colossus of muscle and sheer will, and seeing Diana, who's floating gracefully with her golden wings, acknowledge that massive physical presence is just chef's kiss. Bruce, being the straight shooter he is, asks if that signal is made of magic. Her answer is both philosophical and technical, describing magic as advanced chemistry with unconventional intentions. This is brilliant because this Bruce isn't the multiversal genius who's seen every demon and god in existence. He's a blue-collar worker, a guy who understands chemical compounds and heavy machinery. He's learning about the spooky stuff in real time, and that knowledge bridge between them creates instant chemistry. Diana introduces herself simply, and Bruce, with that signature rugged vibe, just says, "I'm Batman." He wants to know why she's haunting his city, and she reveals that 4 recent murders in Gotham are tied to the mark on her arm. Bruce, with the cynicism of a man who watches his city burn every night, tells her that 4 deaths barely make the local news anymore. But Diana insists the connection is mystical. This is where we see Batman stepping into that cautious mentor role. He warns her to be too out there with her public image, reminding her that while she might be a god, the people around her are definitely not. This is Bruce speaking from a place of deep trauma. In this world, he's already watched his friends, guys like Penguin, Riddler, and Two-Face, get chewed up and spit out by his war. He knows that the price of the mission is often paid by the people standing next to you. But Diana is cut from a different cloth. She tells him she can't go back to the shadows, that love is transformative, and she needs to live that truth in the open. Bruce drops a line that hit me right in the feels. "I think my father would have liked your path." It's a rare, vulnerable moment where we see that behind the armor and the axis, there's still a man who misses the light his father brought into the world.
The vibe lightens up for a second when Diana reveals that she and her mother, the Witch Queen Circe, actually placed a bet on whether Batman was a literal bat god or just a man. Bruce confirms he's just a dude in a suit, and Diana's relieved, though she jokes that Circe is going to be salty about losing that bet. She then offers him a gift, an enchanted talisman rooted in the Greek tradition of hospitality. And here we go, the first big Easter egg for the hardcore fans. The talisman is a version of Hecate. If you've read Greg Rucka's legendary Wonder Woman Hikaya, you know this is a sacred vow where Diana must protect someone at all costs. In this absolute take, the gift acts like a mystical flare. If Bruce touches the talisman with his bare skin and calls for Diana of the Wild Isle, she will literally rip through reality to help him. It's a bond of blood and magic that ties them together before they even throw a single punch side by side. Their investigation takes them deep into the heart of Slaughter Swamp, an iconic Gotham landmark. As an avid reader, my eyes were glued to the background looking for Solomon Grundy because that swamp is his home turf. Diana feels the mystical power pulsing through the mud and asks for the name of the place. Bruce, with his bone-dry humor, responds, "Slaughter Swamp. We're not known for subtlety in Gotham." They find a grisly crime scene in an old cabin, walls literally painted in blood. Diana realizes the scene was staged to look like a cult ritual to Hecate, but the details are all wrong. Hecate's rituals follow the rule of 3, since she's the triple goddess, and this scene was missing the mark. She deduces that someone is trying to build a homunculus or a golem, a magically constructed vessel meant to be controlled. Bruce immediately puts the pieces together. It's a trap to draw you or me in. This is the detective Batman we love, even if he's still figuring out the supernatural playbook of this new universe. They head to an abandoned church with a creepy clock tower where they find a bunch of witches in a deep trance performing a ritual around a lifeless figure. Bruce, being impulsive and trusting his sheer physical power, charges through a magical circle and gets slammed into the dirt by a burst of mystical energy. Diana realizes the danger way too late. The big reveal happens when we cut back to Veronica Cale and Jack Grimm. They reveal the endgame. The plan was to exploit the fact that in many versions of her myth, Wonder Woman was sculpted from clay. If she's made of clay, she's nothing more than a high-end golem, Cale says, and that's exactly what goes down. The witch's magic hijacks Diana's body. Her eyes turn pitch black, and she becomes a puppet of pure destruction. She barely manages to scream one word to Bruce, "Run!" What follows is a high-octane action sequence that'll leave you breathless. Absolute Batman doesn't just tuck tail and bolt, he makes a tactical retreat while Diana starts dropping spells he can't even wrap his head around. She's fighting the possession from the inside, even trying to delete her own arm to give Bruce a chance to fight, but the witch's power is overwhelming. She tosses him around that clock tower like he's a rag doll. This is where we see the unique gear of this Batman. He uses the hooks on the ends of his cape to anchor himself to the ceiling and drops smoke bombs to try and break her line of sight. It's a dirty, gritty, desperate fight. Bruce tries to talk her down, trying to reach whatever's left of Diana's consciousness, but when she comes at him for the kill with his own battle axe, he realizes he's down to his last play. He rips off his glove, touches the Hikaya talisman, and roars, "I demand an audience with Diana of the Wild Isle." The magic of the talisman snaps the spell instantly. That sacred bond Diana created with him is stronger than any witch's manipulation. It's an epic moment that proves trust is the most powerful weapon the Trinity has. Diana snaps back to reality, and they both clear the church just before it goes up in a massive explosion, a failsafe planted by Veronica Cale. In the aftermath, they sit among the wreckage and talk about what's next. Diana admits that her unconventional magical nature makes her vulnerable in ways she didn't expect, but now she knows the score. She hands Bruce a thumb drive she liberated from a government scientist, a nice nod to her solo book, containing intel on all of them. And when Bruce asks, "You mean the Superman?" she confirms it. The final scene is poetic perfection, classic Kelly Thompson. It starts to snow in Gotham, something Diana has never actually felt on her skin before, only seen in books or on distant mountain peaks. She's mesmerized by the perfect magic of the snow touching her face. She reveals she already knows Bruce's name, but won't say it because a man's name is his to give, not hers to take. Bruce, in a massive show of trust, tells her, "Say it, say my name." And she whispers, "Bruce." She takes to the sky, leaving Bruce with one last thought. "Don't you think we should make friends with the Superman, too? We're going to need a lot of friends to save this world." Bruce smiles, watches the snow fall, and mutters, "Happy holidays, Diana."
Man, this script is just fire because it respects the DC legacy while building something fresh. The next chapter is going to be even more explosive with the Man of Steel entering the fray. Which version of the Trinity do you vibe with more? The classic legends or this new, brutal, absolute reality? Let me know in the comments. Until next time,